Welcome, everyone. My name is Drew Hall, and I'm talking to my friends here, but I'm also talking to my friends out there. So I'm so excited that you guys chose to join and worship with us tonight. I'm so guys that you decided to come out here. Y'all will never know how much y'all mean to me. Thank y'all so much. But we're going to worship, and I'm excited about the word that God's given me. I'm excited that Micah brought his friends tonight, and we are going to celebrate what Jesus has done and what he's going to do and who he is. And so if you'll join me in prayer for just a second, and I'll turn it over to them and we'll worship. And I'll try to get us out of here in about an hour. But thank you so much for joining us. God, I just want to say how grateful I am. God, I'm so grateful to be able to stand on this stage and proclaim the gospel. God, I'm so thankful that we have this platform to get to worship you and to share your story with others. Father, I pray that you meet us in this room. I pray that the people that are watching at home, wherever they are, God, I pray that you meet them right there. And God, I pray that you transform lives. I pray that you transform the lives of people in this nation. God, I pray that you bring us a nation that's under you, that is following you, that is after your heart, Father. God, I love you so much, and I pray that you get the glory through all this. Amen.
Stand together. The weapon may be formed, but it won't prosper. But when that darkness falls, it won't prevail. 'Cause the God I serve knows only how to triumph. My God will never fail. You believe that? Sing it. My God, come on. Oh, my God will never fail. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. There's power in the name of Jesus. Amen. Let's sing it. There's power in the mighty name of Jesus. Think about this. Every war he wages, he will win. No, I'm not backing down to any giants, 'cause I know how the story ends. Yes, I know how this story ends. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Sing it again. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. No matter what we go through, guys, we'll be victorious in the name of Jesus. No matter what Satan means for bad in our lives, means for evil, that God will take it and use it for his good. Amen. Sing this. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. Turn it for good. You take, come on. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. One more time, you take. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. You take, come on. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. One more time, you take it. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Thank you, Jesus. God, we thank you this evening for just taking those evil things, God, and turning them around for your good and your purpose. Thank you for the victory we have in you. In Jesus' name. Well, good evening. How y'all doing tonight? It's good to be back around people again, other than your families, maybe. Anybody excited to be around other people? Maybe you hadn't seen for a little while. You'll notice we're all 6 feet apart up here, okay? Social distancing. However, I haven't been worried this whole time. God's in control, amen? I'm too claustrophobic to wear a mask for anything, so I just can't do it. These are weird times, crazy times we're living in right now, crazy things going on around the world. But as believers, we can take heart because we're victorious. Everything's going to be okay, amen? Just keep raising our hallelujah, praising the God that deserves it this evening. I raise a hallelujah. Presence, come on. In the presence of my enemy. I raise a hallelujah, louder than the unbelief. I raise a hallelujah. My weapon is a melody. Our praise is a weapon. Come on. I raise a hallelujah. Heaven comes to fight for me. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm, louder and louder. I'm gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated and the King is alive. I raise a hallelujah with all we have. Come on, with everything. With everything inside of me. He's worthy of it this evening, amen. I raise a hallelujah. And I will watch the darkness flee. I raise a hallelujah in the middle of crazy times, right? in the middle of the mystery. I raise a hallelujah. No more fear. Fear, you lost your hold on me. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Oh, up from the ashes, the hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Oh, I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Oh, up from the ashes, the hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Come on now, sing a little louder. 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 Oh, sing a little louder. Oh, sing a little louder. Here we go, come on. Sing a little louder. In the presence of my enemy. Sing a little louder. Louder than the unbelief. Sing a little louder. My weapon is a melody. Sing a little louder. Heaven comes to fight for me. Sing a little. Sing a little louder. In the presence of my enemies. Sing a little louder. Louder than the unbelief. Sing a little louder. My weapon is a melody. Sing a little louder. Heaven comes to fight for me. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Oh, up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, but the King is alive. Oh, I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. I raise a hallelujah. Let's raise it together. I raise a hallelujah. Louder than the unbelief. I raise a hallelujah. My weapon is a melody. I raise a hallelujah. Heaven comes to fight for me. That's why we're here tonight, just to praise Jesus, amen. Say hallelujah. We have a God that's alive and risen and working in us and working through us, this lost world around us. Let's close our eyes together. This song here is just straight from Scripture. It's just a prayer over us, straight from our Father. God that loves us. God that wants to give us His personal, never-ending, overwhelming peace in our lives. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face towards you and give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Amen. 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 Say that again one more time. Amen. 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 The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Amen. 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 I know the hearts of most of the staff here, and I know it's their heart's cry that God's favor be upon you and your families and your siblings and our schools and our jobs and our communities. Sing this. May his favor be upon you for 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you for 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. Do that again. May his favor be upon you for 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. Go before you, and behind you, and beside you, all around you, and within you. He is with you. He is with you in the morning, in the evening, in the coming, and you're going, and you're weeping. Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. And give you peace. God, may we see your favor in the city of Glencoe, God, in the surrounding cities and towns, and all of Gadsden. I pray for First Baptist Church of Glencoe, God, these mysterious, crazy times, God, that we would keep our eyes fixed on you, Father, the author and finisher of our faith. Pray that we would all, Father, press on to the higher calling, God, that you've placed on our lives. Us to know you and love you and serve you and share that hope with the world around us, God, as we look at our phones or on TV, God, it's just sickening and saddening what's going on around us, Father, but we have hope, we have peace, we have joy, because you're our God, our healer, our provider, our helper, our sustainer. Please go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. He is with you. He is with you in the morning, in the evening, in the coming, in your going, in your weeping and rejoicing. He is for you. Listen, He is for you. 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 Amen. 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 The Lord bless you and keep you, and make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face toward you and give you peace. Thanks. You may be seated.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'm gonna take it up there. For joining us. We gotta get me set up and then we'll be good to go. I want to thank you for my kids that are here. I want to thank you guys for everybody that's watching at home and is taking time out of their day, and I'm truly grateful for that. Okay, so kind of leading into this, if you have a Bible, you can go ahead, or you have a Bible app, or wherever you're listening to at home, you can turn to Genesis chapter 50. Genesis chapter 50, and we're going to be in verses 15 through 21, and we'll get there in just a second. But when I was kind of figuring out when we were going to get back together and what was going to go on, this word and this theme kind of kept coming to my mind, and it was transformed. And that is going to be the first series that we go through back here on Sunday nights. We'll be here every Sunday night at 6 o'clock. So if you want to come with your student or anything like that, you are welcome to come any Sunday night at 6 o'clock. But transformed is our theme. First sermon that I'm going to go through, and we're going to talk about different people, and we're going to talk about how God can transform a situation. We're going to talk about how God can transform you. And the first person we're going to talk about is Joseph. But before I do that, I know we've been cooped up in the house a lot. Did you guys binge watch any shows? A few. Did y'all binge watch any shows at home? And one of the ones I got to binge watch shows because Sadie stays up late at night, and we had to give her a bottle before she go to sleep. And so I got to binge watch a lot of shows, and I went back through and I watched How I Met Your Mother. If I have any How I Met Your Mother fans out there. And one of the episodes stuck out to me, and it made me think about this story from the Bible that we're going to be talking about today. And in the episode, they talk with their friends, and they said, hey, is there somebody that you really don't like or somebody that you hate? and they say everybody has a pit person. Everybody has a person, and maybe you guys can think of one person that if I could throw them in a pit and keep them there, that's my person. That's where they stay. They are my pit person. It is Silence of the Lambs type stuff. Like I would keep them in this pit, and I would leave them there, and we don't ever let them out. We just keep them in the pit. And that was kind of the basis of the episode. They all talk about, they all had to confront who they have in the pit, and then they realize that they are actually keeping themselves in the pit. And there's a lot more to it than that, but that got me thinking about Joseph. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is the story of Joseph in the Bible, in Genesis. And we'll, like I said, we'll end up in 50, but just to kind of tell you a little bit about his story. And I always like, when I have my kids or wherever, I like to do sermon in a sentence. I know it's been a while, but y'all remember sermon in a sentence. So this is my sermon in a sentence. God can transform an evil act to a glorious story of his faithfulness. Let me say that again. God can transform an evil act to a glorious story of his faithfulness. And that's what we're going through right now. There was an evil act that occurred in America. We know that. And we've seen that evil can produce evil, but we believe that God is big enough that he can transform an evil act into his glorious story. And that's what we're praying for, and we're hoping for, that through this, and that people will come to know the Lord, and through that they will be transformed. And by transforming the hearts of people, the world can be transformed. Now, there's a lot going on, and I know a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff. My heart is very heavy tonight. One of my good friends, Adam Cantrell, called me right when I pulled up in the parking lot. And he calls me Coach, and he says, "Coach, you got to pray for me. Mama just passed away. Coach, I tried to do CPR, and I couldn't save her." And so tonight, if you'll join with me, I'm going to pray for Adam and his family in this time of loss. But when we were eating lunch, it's my mom's birthday. I want to wish my mom a happy birthday. I was thumbing through Facebook, and a friend that went to college with me and Gina, they had a baby a week or two ago, and they posted the day that they lost their baby. And so it has been a day. It has been a day. And I know that maybe you at home, that you're going through stuff too. And so I just want to take a second before we dive into this, and I want to pray for you. I want to pray for your situation. I want to pray for what y'all are going through. And I want to tell you and encourage you this, that no matter where you're at, God can transform that into his glory and for his good. And so, if you'll allow me, we'll pray for them, pray for you guys, and then we'll jump into the text. God, I am so thankful, Father, for who you are. God, I know that somebody listening right now needs to hear that it's going to be okay. And so, God, we know that through your word and that you have showed us time and time again how faithful you are, God, that the situation is going to be okay. God, I pray for the Cantrell family. God, I can't imagine what he's going through, what the family's going through. But God, I pray that your glory and your light will shine through the situation. God, I pray for their hearts. I pray that you will just be in the midst of them right now, God, and just pour down your love and compassion upon them. I pray for Abby and her husband, Lord, and their loss and what they're going through, Father. And God, I pray, I know that you're going to take care of their little son that was only a week or two old. And God, I know that he's with you right now, Lord, and that he's healthy and everything's good. But God, I pray for their heart. I pray that, God, that they will run to you. God, I pray that they will fall on the rock, Lord, that you are, God, and that you'll just prop them up. God, in your word in Psalms 23, you said that, we, even in the valley of the shadow of death, we will fear no evil. So, God, we know that you're with us, and we're not going to be in fear tonight. God, I pray for this country. I pray for this service, and I pray that you meet us during this time. I love you, Lord, and I ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so a little bit about Joseph and his story. Joseph was the 11th brother. He had older brothers, and he was kind of like his dad's favorite. Or y'all have who's your parents' favorite? Papa, you're the favorite because you're the only one, so you win by default. Hey, that's right. Jackson, are you the favorite? Maybe you at home. Jackson says he was. Maybe you at home. Maybe you're the favorite child. If you talk to my sister, she will say that she is the favorite child, and she's lying through her teeth. She is not the favorite child. But Micah, you were the favorite, right? Yeah, Micah was the favorite. We know that. So Joseph had 11. He has 11 brothers, and he has one more younger. But his father had him in his old age, but he had him with his favorite wife. Now, during this time, polygamy was still okay. So he had multiple wives, and so he had multiple kids. But Joseph was his favorite, and he gives Joseph this color or a robe of many colors. And, so already if your dad's giving you a special gift, and he's not giving it to your brothers and sisters, there's already probably some little like, why does he get that? I remember this, my sister was a little bit older than me, and so she got to drive, she got to do everything first. But when it came time for me, and I was a few months away from being 16, Dad went and he bought me a car. I was very blessed that he was able to do that. And he came home, and I got real lucky. Dad bought me a brand new car, and it made my sister infuriated. She was so mad. And I remember, we drove it home, and I had to go to baseball practice. And so, I hadn't been home for an hour or so, and my buddy, it was Gary and Cameron, they picked me up. We go to baseball practice, and I'm telling them, hey, guys, I got a car. You got to come see my car. And so after baseball practice, there's a few of us, and they're coming over to see the car, and my car is not there. My sister had talked my parents into letting her take my car for a ride. I don't know where they went, but she got to take it, and I'll have to live with that the rest of my life. But that's okay, but she was not very happy about it, and so that just means that I'm the favorite child. I truly believe that. But Joseph, his dad loved him. He gives him a coat of many colors. And so going through that, there's more stuff that got added on top of it. He was a dreamer. And so a lot of the times Joseph would come tell his brothers this dream. And he says, hey, I dreamed that we were all out in the field working, and our sheaves were all there. And mine stood up tall and upright, and all y'all's bowed down to me. And then he had another dream about the sun and the moon and all these stars bowing down to this one star, and he was the star. And his parents and his brothers so you're saying I'm going to bow down to you? You're saying that you're better than us. And if you have brothers and sisters, that doesn't go very well. And so they come up with an idea, because they were out in the field working. His dad says, hey, I need you to go check on them. And so he goes to check on them, and they see him coming, and all those anger, all the evil starts coming out, and they said, hey, let's kill him. Now that gets extreme there, but they said, hey, let's kill him. Let's just get rid of him. We can blame it on a wild animal. And so his brother Reuben comes up, and he talks him out of it. He says, no, we can't kill him. Let's just throw him in a pit. And that's what they did. They threw him in a pit. And they were going to leave him, and luckily there was no water in the pit. So they throw him in a pit. Reuben goes off. There's Joseph in the pit. And he comes back, and his brothers see this group of people coming, and they said, hey, we can make some money off this. Let's sell him into slavery. So not only has Joseph had this time, and he's been sold into slavery, he's been thrown in a pit. His brothers have taken him down there, but now they've sold him. And they take his coat, and they dip it in goat's blood, and they say, hey, we're going to take it to his dad and say, hey, an animal killed him, Dad. Is this the coat that you gave him? But anyway, so they go and do that. His dad was really sad about it. He was in mourning. But they sell their brother for some money. Some of you at home may be thinking, I should have sold my brother or sister. But that's not the point of this talk. The point is, I want you to see how God took care of a bad situation. So Joseph gets sold into slavery, and God's hand was still on him. God's favor was still on him, and he took care of him even in the bad parts of his life. So Joseph gets sold, and he goes to this guy's house, and eventually through God's grace and
some good things happening. Joseph rises through the ranks, and now he is running this guy's house. And so here he is, and he's young, and they say he's good looking, and he's number two. He's running this guy's house, and all of a sudden, this guy's wife starts looking at him and saying, "Hey, I want you." So the husband's away, and she comes to him and says, "Hey, I want you to lie with me," in that biblical sense. And Joseph says, "I can't do that. This is my master's house. I can't go against him. He's taking good care of me. I can't do that." Well, one thing leads to another, and she tries grabbing him. He loses a part of his clothes, and he takes off. Boom, out the door. And she realizes that she's messed up, so she screams and tries to blame him and says that he tried to come on to her. So now the guy that he worked for is mad. They catch him, and they throw him into jail again. So if you're keeping up with us, Joseph has gone from a pit to slavery, and now he's a slave in jail. But God's hand was still on him in a bad situation. And he takes him and he starts interpreting dreams again. And through chain of events, it leads him to have to interpret a dream for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. And so because he's interpreting that dream and these things come, and it was about a famine, 7 good years, 7 bad years. But through this, Joseph doesn't just become number 2 in a household. Joseph becomes number 2 all the way through up into Egypt. So the only person ahead of him in Egypt was Pharaoh. From a pit to number 2. From a pit to number 2. Now remember, you have to remember the dream that Joseph said that, hey, his brothers will come and bow down to me. You will bow down to me one day. 7 years of good happened, and because of what God told Joseph to do, he protected the land of Egypt, and people had plenty in the 7 years of bad. So people came from all over the world to come buy bread, to come buy grain from the Egyptians. And that you can totally see God moving through this story, because now his brothers had to come from the land and come buy grain from him. They didn't recognize him. He tested them, but then he finally shows himself to them. And they realize who he is, and they make him go bring his dad, and his dad sees him. It's this big reunion, but that gets us to Genesis 50, verses 15 through 21. Now this is all the way at the end. You're about to start meeting Moses in Exodus, but the last part of Genesis, and in verse 15 through 21, it says this. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, so now Joseph's dad has died, and said, it may be that Joseph will hate us and pay us back for all the evil that we did to him. And so they sent a message to Joseph saying, your father gave us the command before he died. Say to Joseph, please forgive the transgressions of your brothers and their sin, because they did evil to you. And now please forgive the transgressions of the servants of God, of the God of your father. And Joseph wept when they spoke to him. His brothers also came and fell down before him and said, behold, we are your servants. So now the prophecy has come true. Now they have bowed down to him. But Joseph said to them, do not fear, for am I in the place of God? As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive, as they are today. So do not fear, I will provide for you and your little ones. Thus he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. So we see here at the end, so Joseph has gone through all of this, and God has kept his hand on him. We're going to look at some takeaways in just a second. But he has this moment that everybody dreams of. Can you think of somebody who's done you wrong? Show of hands, somebody ever done you wrong before? There we go. The one thing that you probably wanted most, A, you wanted them not to do you wrong, but B, you wish they would come say, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I messed this up. And here is this moment that is happening for Joseph. His brothers come. The evil we did against you was wrong. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And the truth of the matter is, if it was us, we would look at that moment and be like, you should be sorry. And I love you, and I'm going to forgive you, but that don't mean I'm going to let you close. Anybody ever said that one before? I love you, but I'm going to keep you at arm's distance. And I forgive you, but if I still get a chance, I'll probably kick you in the back. Maybe it's something like that. But Joseph doesn't do that. Joseph was faithful because he saw that through all of this, God was working for his purpose to save a lot of people. And so if you read that in 19 again, but Joseph said to them, do not fear. Am I in the place of God? As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. That God meant it for good. And so the truth of the matter is, some of us are in a pit today. Some of us are in a pit in our life, and we go through that. You go up on the mountain, you go down. You go up on the mountain, you go down. And sometimes we are in a pit. And the thing is that we ask, God, why me? Why me? Why am I going through this? But we have to truly understand that God may have us in a pit, and He may allow for us to get into a bad situation. But through that bad situation that is meant for evil, God can still get glory out of it. But the thing that matters for that is whether we're going to get angry and seek revenge or we are going to seek God's glory is the tune of our heart and what we're focused on. Joseph knew that God was faithful through all of this, and so he stayed faithful to Him. Not many people would do that. When you have the chance to do something that, hey, I've gone through some bad stuff. Has anybody ever said that? Hey, if you knew what I went through, I've been through some mess. So it's okay if I kind of cross the line a little bit because all this happened to me. Joseph didn't say that even when he had a chance with the guy that he worked for, his wife. He says, no, I can't do that. It wouldn't be honoring to God. I can't do that. So God was faithful to Joseph, and Joseph was faithful to God. Now, if we all understand that we've had evil done with us in our life, and maybe you at home, you've had evil done to you, and it's hard for you to get over it, here are some takeaways that I want to share with you to help you get out of the pit. The first thing that you have to understand is that God rules. God rules. We can transform our life by truly understanding who is in control of our life. See, the Bible teaches, anybody ever heard Philippians 4:13? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And we say that before ball games. And me and Brother Donnie, we've talked about this before. That's not truly what the verse means. The verse means I can be in want and I can be in need. And in every situation, I can do all things through Christ strengthening me. But we have to understand that God rules and He is in control. And that is part of trusting that even when you are going through a bad situation, all right, God, I get it. I lost my job. All right, God, I get it. My girlfriend broke up with me. All right, I get it. Whatever it is, I'm going through this, but I know that you're still in control. That you have not forgot me, that you have not forsaken me, that you are still in control. The world is still spinning, so it still must be about your glory. So if we understand that God rules, we understand that if we tune our heart and say, instead of God, why me? God, how can I use this moment? Yes, I may be in a pit. If you look at the story of Joseph, he was literally in a prison. In a prison. And he could have said, these people were telling him his dreams, and he could have said, no, I don't want none of that. I'm just going to let y'all rot. I'm rotting, you can rot with me. But yet he says, no, this is what God is saying through this. This is what God is saying through this moment. And that's what He's saying to you at home and to you guys, that God can use an evil moment if you allow Him to transform it to His good. I remember the shooting that happened in Charleston, South Carolina a few years ago. Do y'all remember that? It was at a church. You guys remember that? And guy goes into a church, sits through the whole service, and at the end, he just starts shooting, kills some people. And I remember that church and that community. You think people would riot. You think people would be mad. And they came together and they loved each other and they prayed with each other and they marched together. And here's this evil moment that got transformed to glorify God. Now, I hope and pray that we never have a situation like that. But I do hope and pray that even in our small moments where we're in a pit or somebody does something wrong to us, that we can transform that to, hey, I'm going to glorify you, Lord, because it's not about me. I'm not in control. It is about you because you are the ruler of the world. So the first thing is we have to understand that God rules. The second thing is we have to understand that God is always working. Part of that question is when we ask God, why me, is we believe that maybe God is not working in my life. And maybe you guys have felt like that God is not working in your life. But the truth is, God is always working. From the very beginning to the end of this, He is working for this one thread of a story about His glory. See, God is a jealous God, and He wants our attention. He wants our love, and He deserves it. And so God is always going to be working in your life. The motto is, hindsight is what? If you're at home, you can chat it in. Hindsight is what? 20/20. Hindsight is 20/20. And even in the moment, in the darkness of a pit, I don't know what the pit looks like, but in a pit, you think it's dark, you think it's cold, and you think it's wet, and it's not a good place that you want to be. But even in the midst of a pit, we can see God working, and we can see that through the story of Joseph. If his brothers never would have thrown him in the pit. I'm not condoning throwing your brother down a well or your sister down a well. I'm not saying that. Don't do that. Adam Bowman's up there saying thank you for clarifying that, Drew. But I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is if they never throw him in a pit, if they never sell him into slavery, he never gets to become number 2 in all of Egypt and take care of all the people. If he doesn't interpret the dream that God gave somebody for him to interpret, they may have never worked. More people may have died. So even through an evil situation, we see God working. And you guys can see that in y'all's life too. You just have to be looking for it. We understand that He is always working. The third thing is that we see is that God is bigger. Anybody ever heard that before? Maybe you've seen the bumper sticker, God is bigger. It's more than that. It's more than just a saying. We have to understand that God truly is bigger than the pit that we are in. See, a lot of times with the pit, we get real scared and we get real nervous because we don't see a way out. How can I climb out of this? I think about the scene from Batman. Pawpaw's seen Batman, when you gotta climb up the rocks, you can't do it with a rope, and you have to jump out. I think about that, and I can see up there, but there's no way I can get there. We have to understand that God is bigger than our problems. If He is in control, and we truly believe, point number 1, that God rules, we have to truly believe that God is bigger than our problem, and God can get us out of the pit. John's gospel teaches us this. In John chapter 10, verses 27, and we're going to go 27 through 30, and this is what Jesus was telling the people after He says, I am the good shepherd. But He tells them this in verse 27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they will never perish, and no one will snatch them out of my hand. My Father has given them to me, and is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of the Father's hand, and I and the Father am one. So think about this and how glorious this truth is from God. That no matter what bad situation you're going through, is that God is bigger, and when you are truly God's, when you are His child, there is nothing, no evil, no anything in this life that can snatch you out of His hand. And that is the faith that we live in, that, hey, I may be in a pit, and I may be in the valley of the shadow of death, but I will never be snatched out of God's hand. And maybe not in this life. I may never see that, hey, things are returned to me. God may never put me up at number 2 or number 1 in charge of everything. But what I'm banking on and what my faith is in, that even when I take my last breath here, that I will be with Him forever and ever in glory. And that's the truth, that God is bigger. We see that through Jesus, that God is bigger than our sin, bigger than the separation that separated us, because He sent His Son to die for us. Now, as Micah comes, and he's going to play one more song for us to close out, I just want to give us this last little bit, and it's hope. We understand that God rules. We understand that God is bigger. We understand that He is always working. Hope is the last one. If we truly believe those things, we can have hope in a bad situation. There's always going to be evil. There's always going to be bad things. Bad stuff's going to happen to good people. But we have the hope of a God who is in control. We have a hope of a God who made the world. And that big God is holding on to us. So maybe you've gone through some bad stuff, and maybe you've gone through some mess. If that's you, I just want to give you hope tonight that God's still holding on to you. He won't let go of you, and you just need to turn to Him. And maybe that's you at home, the few of you that's watching probably. If you need that, there's a number on the screen that's going to be there. If you need to connect with somebody, if you need somebody to pray for you, just reach out that way. But I'm going to pray for us one more time, and I'll let Micah play, and he'll close out the service for us. But guys, I just want to tell you this. God is bigger, and you don't have to stay in that pit. You don't have to stay in that pit. Let's pray. Father, thank you for calling us out of the pit. Thank you when there was no way for us to get out of it, God, that you made a way, and that way was through Jesus. If somebody needs to come to know you tonight, God, I've had somebody lose family members and a baby here in this last little bit, God. We never know when it's going to be our time, but Father, I pray that if somebody doesn't know you tonight, God, that you will just convict their heart so bad and so hard, and just call out to them and knock on their heart and say, I want you and I need you and I love you no matter what you've done. Because I'm bigger, I'm always working, I'm in control. And you can have hope and freedom in me. God, if that's somebody's heart tonight, I pray that they just reach out, that they use the number that was on the screen, that they call, text one of their Christian friends and say, hey, I need this Jesus because I don't want to live in this pit anymore. So God, I pray that you move in these last few moments of this service. I love you, Lord, and I thank you, and I ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Stand together. No place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. Hearing your love, hearing your love. There's no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. Hearing your love, hearing your love. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. No place I'd rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Hearing your love, hearing your love. There's no place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. No place I would rather be. Hearing your love, hearing a fire down in my as a prayer. Can't contain that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. Pour it out. I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. So pour it out. To set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more. One more time. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you. God, that's our prayer tonight. Just to set a fire in us that's contagious to those around us, Jesus. Give us a fire, God, just for you, for your love. It's just contagious and just, Lord, burns up the neighborhoods and the jobs and everywhere we go, Jesus. It's good to be here, God, in your presence with our brothers and sisters. Just bless us as we go from here. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, guys.